Hey everyone, Boardviews here, and we've got another nightly fix here. Bit of a different change on things here. This is actually a 3330 board, which is very similar to, in appearances, to the 2915, the notorious 2915 with GPU issues. This one's come in with USB fault. Apparently, nothing's working on the USB, but I am seeing power coming out, but obviously no data. I try to boot from it, and nothing happens. But this may be a bit of a rabbit hole or a hole to nowhere, because when I was trying to test it, I could have sworn I saw some vertical lines coming up on the LCD. Now that could be maybe a bad connector on the LCD, or maybe a bad LCD, but it could also be a GPU issue. We'll get to that later. We'll see if we can get some USB activity. But otherwise, might just have to be a no fix and toss it in the bin. Or just use it for spare parts. Yeah. Alright, let's get into it. Wish me luck. Yeah, this is probably going to be a shoddy video, so all of those of you who are desperate to give me a thumbs down, you just go right ahead and start pressing that thumbs down. I should use this hand here. There's a reason for a thumbs down there. Use the wrong hand for a thumbs down. Much points removed. I'm sticking this back on because I've had a look around there, and I would rather, while I'm playing around with this, not give myself another reason to have this board fail. Okay. I seem to have misplaced my correct screwdriver for putting these screws back in. Look, there you go, another reason for a thumbs down. Better get at it. Thumbs down are a funny thing. YouTube doesn't really actually penalize you for anything. It's more of a indicator for you as the creator to hear from your audience their constructive criticism towards your creations without them having to say anything. So if you happen to upset them before they've had their morning coffee, it's thumbs downs to you, good sir. Or if you happen to have jaded them sometime in the long distant past, anytime you get a video, those dedicated haters will jump on and let you know that they still love you in a very strange way by thumbs downing you. Much appreciated. Thank you very much for your dedication. Nice to see that some people do watch out for when you post your new videos. It's rather marvellous, in fact. Alright. So, USB, obviously around in this area here. Let's throw this board around. So if we're getting no data, and it seems like it's on both ports, that could be the controller chip at fault. So what we'll do is we'll get a nice little blinky one, which goes the other way up. Amazingly, that went in on the first turn. You're the wrong one. Alright, so here we go. So, power. Hello, power. I swear, one half my MagSafe is no good here. Okay, let's try that. There we go. So we obviously definitely getting USB power. We got the first blink. Trick is, do we get more? No. Yeah, we've definitely got activity on that one. So this back port here definitely has activity. Or is it the front port? No, it's the front port, yeah. Interestingly, that's bent. So that's curious, because you'd think the one that's not bent would not have the issue. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so with the power, we still don't have a blink yet. We'll give it another 10 or 15 seconds, just in case it's having a slow day. But I'm really thinking this one, so I don't think it's both ports. It could just be this one, but it's interesting that that one is the bent port, so which could be a bit tricky, because hopefully we don't have to physically replace this board. Yeah, that's definitely not coming up to life. Alright, So we do have an asymmetrical fault here. It's not both ports, which is a good thing to see. Let's flip this over without me completely ruining everything. Get my light back on. Thank you very much. Get the fan out of there. And let's have a look at the board view and schematic. Right, so this one here is working fine, and that will be J4600. So the faulty one is J4700. Let's find that on the schematic, and yes, that is indeed the back port. Now, if I was to pick a potential suspect, given that it's unique to just this port, we could, let's see, and I wonder. This is a USB 3 stick. And you'll notice on here there's USB 3 pins and there's USB 2 pins. So I wonder if maybe it's limited to a particular USB. And there's more USB 3 pins. So 4700, 4710, 4720. Let's go look at 4700. It's on the other side. We're going to check the resistance across these filters and see if they're balanced. So we've got 2.0. Well, no, that doesn't look very balanced at all, does it? So we've got 85 there. 86. Let's double check that we weren't just being dumb. And we've got 1 there. Well, that looks kind of suspicious, doesn't it? Now, yeah, that does look a little off center. And if you're wondering why I picked that, well, it's just because it's unique to the port, and it's where the data flows when you will get in power. And so it was just my first suspect, and they are known to fail. And now that I look at it, it's interesting. There's actually solder around there, fresh solder. Okay, well, I'd say let's replace that, and maybe we get lucky. Oh, I'm on iPhone. Damned iPhones. Hello, there you go. Look at that. Couldn't see that from the top. But a whopping great big chunk out of the bottom there. I don't even know where that chunk is. It's like it blew clean off. Yeah. Interesting. So something got in there and made a mess of it. Now the question is that I just realised that is actually the legs. That's funny. Yep. Well, it's certainly the start of the fault. I'll be very happy if that's that. Can do with the win. Especially considering the history behind this whole job. All parties involved could really appreciate the win. I've been truly blessed, and we actually do have a spare one of these. I forgot that I had a 3330 board. So extraordinarily fortunate. See how there's none of this weirdness? It's like whatever was being done to it before, if they were looking for the fault, they came real close. Real close. I really need to get myself some more 3330 boards. Okay, put that one aside, and now a little keepsake. So I've got a little memories box where we keep all the broken pieces. Okay. Looks pretty darn good. We'll check the balance on this one too. And the reason why I don't use diode mode on these things is because it doesn't give the resolution at that low ohms. So let's see, 30 megs? That sure as hell ain't right. So it seems like 85 ohms is about where we want to go for. Now you're 1 point what? 2.2 roughly. It's not making any sense. I'm thinking that bent the bent USB connector has actually fractured these things. So I'm replacing this one out of abundance of caution. They are very sensitive little critters. Yeah, there we go. So that one's cracked too. So we've had a massive flex along here. Goodness knows how many of these things it's taken out. There you go. Well, that'll explain why it worked, but then didn't work. Because they're made out of just compressed ferrite, basically iron dust. Okay, it's a little more complicated than that, but you get the gist of it. And when they cop a bit of bending, they have absolutely no ductility or anything like that. They've got no flex, and so they just promptly snap, as you could well see. Oh, it looks like some sodden bastard has taken the other one. Alright, fine, we'll just have to find an equivalent. We want 90 ohm, 100 milliamp. DLP11S. Wonder if we're going to get lucky enough and find a part. Search. If we're lucky enough, we might find it on the 2915. Yeah, it looks like we got them on the 2915. Thank you very much. Let's just bring that up and have a confirmation of that. Oh, it's on the serial ATA connector, optical drive connector too. Optical drive, and yep, there we go. It's on the USB ports. So yes, the 2915 once again serves a fine purpose of being a good donor for many parts, even though it's useless on the GPU side. Interesting that it's on the optical drive as well, so good to know. When I drain all these USB port ones, I can go attack the SATA drive. I suppose it makes sense. The data rate coming out of the optical drive would be no worse than that coming over USB. Okay. Callously throws it on the floor, casts it aside with abandon. Ow. Burns his fingers with the hot air. I suppose the question is, what are the chances of these chaps being damaged? Now, they would be the USB 3, my guess is. Actually, I've got one there, but I can't see where the other one is. Let's see if we're right about this. Has that got damage to it? You have indeed got damage to you. Alright, get rid of you. See this... we'll chip out the side here. It's genuinely no great surprise at all that they'd be damaged. On donor boards, given how roughly they get treated, these sort of filters are very quick to take it to heart and break. Of course, I don't help when I just throw it down on the floor. In my defense, the floor is carpet, so it won't suffer physical damage, but it's certainly going to get a good chance of some interesting electroshock. Oh, for goodness sake, Paul, come on. Stop fiddling with these pads. There we go. Dun, dun. Right, where did I put that chap? There we go. Let's try this again. Splendid. I suspect we will have somewhat more success there. Gonna warm and toasty. Yeah, so it's this back one here that originally was at fault. Most that we could quickly diagnose. Let's turn off that light again. There we go. Should I wait for it to cool down? Yes. Will I wait for it to cool down? No. Okay, so we got the 5-volt blink then. There we go, substantially better now. Look at that. It also explains why before, when it was in the port that sort of worked, that the blinking was a little odd. It didn't quite always work. Okay, so that's good. That one's good. I'm still not sure what to do about the physical damage on there. I fear if I try to rectify it, I'll just make it worse. Yeah, so that's all good. Excellent. So we're going to stick it back in the machine and see how we go. See if we have any luck. Ooh, what are you from? Oh, you're an iPhone 7. Oops. Yes. Yes, I've started doing iPhone 7 screen replacements now. Only about 2 years after everyone else did them. In my defense, though, I prefer not to needlessly take on that risk. The risk of, hey, let me fix your iPhone 7 screen. Oops, I damaged your home button. There's nothing you can do. Your phone is now useless. Instead, there was an Apple service provider 100 k's, well, 120, 30 k's down the road. I just sent people down to them. If things went bad, well, then they can, oh, for goodness sake. See, I can't even get a keyboard flex in right now. More thumbs downs. More thumbs downs. Oh, we've got it in. I get that thumbs up now. Screen connector. Let me inspect that just in case I had issues. It seems okay. Oh, shit bricks. Yeah, no frickin' wonder it wasn't any good. God damn. 2 pins? Seriously? That's... if I plug this in, that is gonna blow. I'm pretty sure of it. Because they are distinctly different purposes. Yeah. That's jacked. Well, that explains why I wasn't able to get diddly squat out of it. Oh boy, person's not going to be happy. Alright, so I'm thinking about what we can do about this couple of pins damaged on the end here. And just taking a look at the connector, just want to verify that I'm not being an idiot much more than usual here. Yeah, it's definitely the first two. Alright. If we look at the board view, the first one is ground and the second one is 3v3 for the LCD. Now the 3v3 is duplicated, so we could technically lose one of them. And the ground, well, that's, you know, spaced out everywhere on there. So again, we could technically drop it out. So I guess it's a gamble of like, do you clip those two pins off for safety, or do you try to reconstruct it? Now, I suppose the reason why it has been working in this case, and it's been some really good luck here, to be honest, is that we don't want the 3V to short to ground. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of plastic still under it, so that's been preventing the short. And this pen here, well, that is ground, so if it does short, well, whoop-de-doo, it shorts to itself. It's not a problem at all. I think what I might try to do is put some UV cure under there and see if that wins, because basically we've got a total loss situation here regardless. And I'm pretty sure if we shorted the 3v3 to ground, well, we'll just blow a fuse or something like that, nothing too bad. So I think I might try a bit of UV cure just to try and put the padding under those contacts. Can't do anything about this leading edge plastic, but at least if the contact body underneath is secured, maybe we have a chance. Seems my UV tube is kind of choked up, so I need to get it to unchoke a bit. Come on. Just using a great big Sharpie jamming up the back. So the big Sharpie fits pretty good. Try and not have this go the wrong way. I don't know what I've done with the syringe that I use for this. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was very unappealing. I do have another one of these tubes coming at least, so it's no great loss. Alright. I think what's happened is I haven't been storing this properly. There has been some daylight exposure. And while it's not enough to make the whole tube change or cure, it is still enough to make it thicken a bit. Alright, well, we've got this excess of green goo here, so I may as well use it. Alright. Now, I'm not at all concerned if it gets in under, over the top of it or anything like that, because this stuff's very easy to just shave back. In fact, I could pretty much just cure the damn lot of it, which will isolate out the pins. Great. I do kind of need to push down that pin slightly though. It's more like it. Alright, are we cured? Well, it looks like it might have a chance. Might have a chance. Gonna push my luck here. Guess the only way to really find out is to push in and try, but before I do, I should really have a look in here and see that there isn't any debris in there. There's some damage in there, but it's clear of debris, so I'm willing to reconnect it. Would help if I don't put cat hair in there. Actually, it's not cat hair, it's random fluff from the universe. Alright. I'm gonna plug in our USB. First one, then the other. So we've got activity. I'm not sure if this... Oh, there we go. Did just boot. Yeah, advanced Ubuntu options. Well, that looks pretty good to me. I call that a win. Once again, we got lucky. We had a comparatively simple fault there, although it was compounded with the LVDS break-off in the end there. It seems like that's working though, that little fix that we did. Yeah, if it was a newer machine, I'd probably sort of be going, yeah, we should really replace that cable, and maybe we still may have to replace that cable, but I'll leave that to the shop that's going to be handling this from here. Already the work I'm doing was a bit of a help out. So it goes to show, there was the hint was there in the form of that bent USB connector. There wasn't any visible things on the board in terms of corrosion or cracks or anything, but by looking at the fact that we had a bent USB connector, we were able to then sort of go, yeah, maybe the physical cracking had occurred, and doing the testing to see that it was only one port and the other. Funnily enough, technically, both those ports should have failed, and I believe when this was tested, that was the case. Both ports had failed. It was just through shipping that one of those filter packs had managed to get close enough together and the USB 2 tolerance was enough that it could work through the damaged filter pack. So if you have USB issues, then it doesn't hurt to just replace those filter packs straight up. Sometimes they can even test perfectly fine, and at DC they can seem like they're okay, but if they have a hairline crack through them, then at the frequencies in which the data migrates across, that fine hairline crack actually becomes like a whopping great big gap, and data just will not go across. So it's a good start out point if you are unsure as to why you've got power on your ports but you can't seem to get any data, or it's intermittent or things like that. Certainly quicker and easier to replace those filter packs than it is to try and change the controller chips and things like that. So we're going to leave it at that. I'm very happy that this worked out like it did. I know the person who sent this to me is also going to be very happy about this, because we were both sitting here kind of thinking we've got a bit of a disaster on our hands. So what can I say? I'm happy, even though I don't really look it. Alright, I'll see you next time. Until then, you all take care. Catch us later. Milo? Really? Micro doesn't agree with you doing that, do you, Micro? Yeah.